Hello, and welcome to episode 50 of Flix and the Six. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Costanzo. With me, forever and always, the man, the myth, the Indoraptor, Gianna Biolsi. Say hello, Al.
Mine went off like a fucking cannon.
Yeah, that exploded a little bit.
Yeah, it shot over my shoulder. It's somewhere in the other side of the room.
Mine didn't make a noise.
And that's right. We have, for the very first time, a special guest. That third voice you heard is Gianna Biolsi, Alessandro's sister, and more importantly, my cousin. Say hello, Gianna.
Hi.
Gianna is joining us for the first time. This is our first guest, episode 50. A lot of stuff coming together this week.
Oh, that's kind of perfect on the 50th episode.
Yeah.
I didn't even...
Yeah.
This was spur of the moment. I thought of this
You planned it. Just take the credit. It's fine.
Well, no, because we had planned... What was the one that you volunteered that you wanted to join us for? Was it for Cloud Atlas? Or was it for something else? There was something a couple weeks ago you said you wanted to join us for whenever we do it.
I said I wanted you to do The Greatest Showman, but you said you didn't want to.
That was the one. That's the one.
I'll do that one.
Right, okay. Just kick that
Me and
out.
Gianna will do that episode. One day I'll be sick.
I guess it's not forever and always.
Right. You'll be here in spirit, I guess. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about The Predator, Guardians 3, Spider-Man, Avengers Shoots and Reshoots, Movie Pass, and we're going to continue our rolling therapy session around episode 8. But first, Al, what are we drinking?
We are drinking from Ithaca Beer Company, the Raspberry Soiree, a Berliner-style Weiss ale brewed with raspberry. I have something to read from somewhere here if I can find it. We have a little cramped quarters because me and Gianna are sharing one headphones.
Take your time reading it because the top half of my beer looks like soap.
I will take my time reading it because in this low light in here, this very small print is going to be tough for me to read.
Yeah, I was trying to read the bottle and I gave up because the text is tiny and black on a dark background.
It's worse on the box. All right.
Excellent.
We
I feel
have
like I'll pronounce the thing wrong.
the spirit of the Finger Lakes in the heart of the Finger Lakes. From the soothing
Finger
waterfall
Lakes.
gorges. Yeah. Finger Lakes.
Something.
From the soothing waterfall gorges to the hardworking farms overlooking Cayuga Lake, Ithaca's natural beauty inspires the mind and soul. Nestled in the heart of New York's beautiful Finger Lakes region, Ithaca Beer Company is an earnest reflection of this environment. At Ithaca Beer, we're dedicated to brewing world-class beer, satisfying our customers, fulfilling our employees, and preserving our natural surroundings. The passionate people of Ithaca Beer are driven to preserve the culture, art, and quality of everything we make. From the complex and innovative beer we brew to the delicious food we serve in our farm-to-table taproom brewpub, our unwavering attention to quality and our spirited compassion for our craft is evident in everything we do. Ithaca Beer, we make life just a little more enjoyable.
Nice.
Sounds very nice.
I like that right up. I've got a question for you, Al. Maybe you could explain this to me. The head of the beer is bouncy. Is that a thing? Is there something that contributes to that?
Bouncy in what way?
Like if I tap it, it springs back at me.
No, it's just got a very healthy head to it.
Oh, okay. And I don't know about yours. Mine has like this weird sediment on top of the foam. I'm just imagining that's...
Oh yeah, mine has chunks of it floating throughout. I mean,
Okay.
that's what happens anytime you put like fruit type adjuncts in it.
Dirty.
fruit adjuncts.
And also, I mean, I think this one is unfiltered. Yeah, it's super hazy. So, it's yeast and fruit sediment basically.
Okay. Shall we give this one a taste?
Sure.
Cheers. Ooh. I like that.
I would say pleasant and refreshing, which is perfect for this weather today.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't know what to expect there. I was afraid it was going to be like one of those overly weedy beers, but
No, I mean, it's a Berliner Weiss, so you don't get a crazy amount of sour, just a hint of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get the crazy overpowering, if you're not a big fan of it, wheat character, but you get a bit of it.
The sour part is nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it would almost be attributable to the raspberry itself, because raspberry is pretty tart fruit.
Yep.
And you get enough raspberry to know it's there, but it's not overwhelming either, although that's not an overwhelming flavor to begin with.
Right, but if you were like flavoring something with raspberry, it could be. So,
I guess so, but I've
a
done
good
it. I did it in my own beer, and it also I actually went on the strong side with the amount that I put in it, and it still came out not very strong. And I put it against a very neutral base beer. Like it was not something that was going to get eaten up in that.
Right. I think most of the times when I see like raspberry on something, I'm assuming it's raspberry flavoring. So like I immediately think like overly sweet, like a syrupy grossness, because people tend to use that for things. But this is nice. Gianna, what?
I was saying the one I made, I used syrup because I was too much of a novice to do it with fresh fruit, but
fair.
It came out well, and again, I guess probably because I didn't overpower it. But what did you think? Did you get the raspberry that you didn't believe was going to be there?
I did get it.
How's your raspberry juice?
It's delightful.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. Awesome.
I tried to pick a beer that I thought you would actually enjoy. So
No,
we haven't had a fail in a long time.
no.
Right? Okay. Interesting.
No, as soon as I tasted it, I was kind of annoyed because like I was like, oh, I can taste the raspberry.
Didn't believe it.
I didn't want to.
When have I led you astray? We've had this conversation.
Every time I taste your beer.
Well, no, that's not what I'm talking
about. Shots fired.
No, when I tell you it's something that you're going to enjoy, I don't.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
All right. Our first topic for the show is The Predator. Al was gracious enough to share with me that the trailer had dropped today while I was working, which was a nice little break. The longer trailer, as opposed to the teaser that was out previously. And it was a nice red band trailer, so you got a little bit more than you would normally get. Two immediate reactions. The first one was, I'm interested. I'm very excited to see this now. I like where it's going.
We've had growing interest in it as the announcement came. We went from kind of a meh feeling to first trailer, okay, that's something to work with, to now this one. I'm probably fully on board. Plus, last week or 2 weeks ago, I heard an interview with Keegan-Michael Key. Did I mention that on the show already?
I don't think so.
A week or two ago, I heard an interview with him, and not only is he in this new movie, but apparently going back to the first one coming out, he's a huge fan of the movies themselves.
Excellent.
So he just was raving about the movies and everything like that, and I guess was a big reason why he wanted to sign on and do this. The dual facts of that, and his favorite character in the first one was Shane Black, and Shane Black is directing this one.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. It's got its roots in the original, so that's really cool. So the two things were on opposite sides of the spectrum. One, very excited. The movie seems really, really good to me. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I liked the cast of characters that I was seeing in the trailer. And then 3/4 of the way through it, we got to see this super predator. And I'm like, just put that in the back pocket and don't give that to me until I see the movie. I don't want to know that that's coming.
I know. That gets down to that thing that we keep talking about trailers that spoil what they shouldn't spoil. But I think in this case, that promotional material for this movie is not going to be able to hide that that's what the movie's about. Mm-hmm. It's a twist that they're not really going to be able to hide.
I don't know. They could have that whole trailer. They could have stopped before that, and I would have been sold on the movie.
No, well, you might have, but I don't think everyone would have. I think this is an interesting selling point, and not to get too spoilery with it yet, but I feel all the more firm in the sense of what I was saying about the Jurassic World final trailer that came out. Mm-hmm. Those were some things that they didn't need to spoil.
Right.
Twists that they could have left alone. Mm-hmm. In this case, I think we'll probably end up seeing that that's not the case. I think that's what most of the movie is going to end up being about. So,
well, what they should have done was made it a mystery, because in the first scene that they show, that Super Predator deal, you don't know what it is. You can't tell. And if they did that and left that as the mystery, that would have been great.
They could have cut it at just it getting pulled through the wall.
Right.
And not shown what did the pulling.
Well, even when they show the whole thing for a split second, people will freeze frame it and figure out what it is. But you can't really tell in that first, when it's pulling it across the car.
So you just want people to work for it.
Yeah. Or someone like me doesn't need to know. If they don't look further into it, I could find out when I see the movie.
I suppose that's true.
Gianna, when you guys watched the trailer a few minutes ago, I think the first thing I heard you say before I walked away was, you can go see this one alone.
Yes, exactly what I said.
So you're not interested in the Predator.
I mean, I want to be at my home Where the I just
With the
I don't
lights
know.
on.
With the lights on.
Got it. That's fair.
Like,
That's fair. I mean,
I don't think I ever saw The Last Predator. Or the
that's
first
fine.
Predator.
You don't need to.
Yeah, no.
You're all
I
right.
mean, everyone should see the first one.
The first one, sure. Not the last one.
Yeah, well.
It's
Or-
there.
I actually...
How many Predators are there?
Well, there's Predator, there's Predator 2, there's Alien vs. Predator, there's Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and then there's Predators.
Right.
But not what's this?
The
Predator.
So what
That eye roll was appropriate.
So what this one does is it says Alien vs. Predator movies, The Predators. You guys go sit at the kiddie table. You don't matter anymore. This one ignores those exist and is a direct sequel to the second one.
Okay, that's a good idea.
It's also got SKB, which I'm excited about.
Who?
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh,
Randall.
no, because the first place I went to was
Is
like
he not
three
in
memes. Who?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Unless he's in cameo.
Oh, I hope he has a cameo role.
The reason I was looking it up was because part and parcel to the whole thing with the new Predator having Shane Black as a director is I heard something about John McTiernan, who was the director of the original Predator, who had an incredible run in the late 80s. In 1987, he directed Predator.
Mm.
In 1988, he directed Die Hard.
Nice.
In 1990, he directed The Hunt for Red October.
Good lord.
Those are three
It's all downhill from there.
blockbusters. Well, let's not be so sure,
Okay,
because
okay.
in 1993, he directed The Last Action Hero.
My man.
Coming up a lot later. And in 1995, he directed Die Hard with a Vengeance, which I'm also a fan of.
Brilliant.
Now, I believe
Some might say the best Die
sometime
Hard.
he's got a bit of a hiatus there, I think.
If he went out on top, that's fine.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure he might have gone to prison.
Oh.
That's
But
the
for-
opposite.
But for what I'm not. But my favorite part of the whole thing was there was talking about how he went to prison sometime after directing that 3-movie stretch: Predator, Die Hard, and The Hunt for Red October. And I was listening to the Dan Le Batard show where they were talking about it because they're huge fans of the Predator. And they're like, "Wow, those are 3 great movies in a row." And then he went to prison. And someone said, "What did they go to prison? What did he go to prison
Some
for?"
medium
And
to light treason.
from the background, someone yelled, "For being awesome."
That's great.
Which,
love that.
I mean, when you direct those movies, is he wrong?
Yeah, yeah. I'm good on trailers for this. I'm done. I'm just gonna wait for that to come out. I'm
I
excited.
mean, I'm going to be upset if they do another one.
It's more of a when, I feel like, with these summer movies, but hopefully we can avoid it.
Well, the thing is, I'm surprised we already got two
Two?
full trailers now because it's not out until September.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I guess
know
it's
why.
probably a good thing though because this is like the anti-Solo where it's like they're putting the trailers out way too early, whereas that was when I read that report for our Solo episode or the one after it, I forget. They talked about they think the biggest factor was poor marketing strategy. And they said that they waited too long and that the first trailer had almost nothing to do with Alden Ehrenreich to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe this will be a plus.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So far, so good. I am excited to see where this goes. Moving on. Next story. Guardians Volume 3. James Gunn tweeted a picture of the of Guardians Volume 3. It was like the script. And
Yeah,
I
it was
think
just like the
something I love it or love or something like that. And I got really excited. And this is the movie that I'm currently most excited for.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to wait 2.5 years.
But I think that's the thing that's going to slowly build my anticipation is going to slowly build for this particular movie over time because just the more and more I think about it, the more I love the Guardians movies, and I cannot wait for this.
Well, between now and then, you have Ant-Man and the Wasp in like a week and a half or something like that, and then you have Captain Marvel at the beginning of next year. You have Avengers Infinity War next year. You have Spider-Man Homecoming 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Spider-Man Far From Home, didn't they just
Far From Home? Yeah.
They just announced that?
Yep. Yeah, that's the next story we're going into. But then,
Spoiler alert.
well done. So but like those movies, sure, I'm excited for them, but I'm not anticipating them the way that I'm anticipating Guardians 3. I'm feeling very similar to how I anticipate a numbered Star Wars movie. Not at that level, but close to it.
Approaching.
And I'm pretty happy about it because he's really knocking it out of the park. I'm really happy with the product.
Who's James Gunn?
Yeah.
Yeah. I concur.
Very excited to see where that goes. And moving on to our third story, as Al brought up, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Did you see how they showed the title for this one?
I did not see the reveal. No.
So if you guys know, Tom Holland is known for spoiling things.
Yes.
Running his mouth, and they're like playing into it.
Wait, who's worse, him or Mark Ruffalo?
It's like a running joke that they're both terrible. I don't know.
I think Mark Ruffalo is the worst because he was the one that security had to attack during the Thor Ragnarok premiere because he was accidentally live streaming it from his pocket.
Mm-hmm. Which is great.
It is.
I love that. But for this one, he was talking like it's like him taking a video of himself saying like he's like so excited. He finally got the script. He just got the script for the next Spider-Man movie. I can't wait to read it. And he's like showing like the iPad that it's on, and that's where the title is. Like that was like it was they're playing it up, which is great.
Yeah.
I love that. But what do you think this means? Where do you think this takes place? Do you think they're doing this just so that you feel like it could be at any point during this time frame, or?
Well, it could be that at the end of Avengers 4, that him coming back to life, because of course he's coming back to life. Spoiler alert. Is
Gianna's like, what?
It's gonna pick up with. Avengers. Oh yeah, you didn't see it.
What a monster.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was doing it for the audience. I think it could pick up with wherever it is in time and space that he re-enters corporeal form.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I don't know. Did that get picked up on the mic? Did you hear that?
Just ever so slightly. That's wonderful.
It means like when he's like got tangible form, when he has a body and he's alive and everything. Just go see Avengers.
She's gonna be more and more confused until she sees it now.
Yeah.
Gianna, did you see Spider-Man: Homecoming?
I did see that.
Were you a fan of that?
I thought it was good.
That was the one that I went with you, right? Where you barely made it through all the post credits.
Oh yeah.
I was furious. He made me stay till the end. It was a long movie. Had a lot to drink. Saw the credits rolling, about to leave. He's like, no, we have to wait. And then the stupid Captain America thing comes on, and I ran out.
And Al, you knew that was what was coming, right?
Well, no, with these, I just look to see how many there are, so I don't leave before it's done. And I forget how many there was, but I was counting them down. I was like, wait, we can't leave the post credits. She's like, oh, okay. So they play one. She goes to get up. I was like, no, there's like 2 more or whatever. So, and then it's going, and it's truly an end credit one. Like it's the very end. And it's that last one where he sits down and it's basically just an F you to the. Yeah, and
the look on Gianna's face right now does not come through the mic, but it's there.
So she got up, stormed out of the theater, went to the bathroom. I'm laughing. I wait till she comes out, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." She's like, "You knew?" I was like, "No, I didn't know. I knew there was another thing. I heard it was something to do with Captain America, but I didn't know what it was." I was like, "Come on!" I was like, "It was kind of shitty, but it was clever." She's like, "Yeah, but also, fuck you."
You're like, "I didn't know, but I wish I had so that I could have planned for this."
Well, it would have been perfect because I would have recorded her reaction if I knew that's what was coming.
That's wonderful. That actually ties nicely into our next topic, which is Avengers Infinity War shoots and reshoots. And this is an interesting thing that came out of an interview with Elizabeth Olsen about how quickly they're doing reshoots. So that they're filming and reshooting in like rapid fire. So that adds to probably why very little leaks about these movies. Aside from the dummy scripts and not giving people things all at once and maybe not giving people the whole story, this is another thing that can add to that. And I really appreciate what goes into keeping those movies under wraps.
And also the fact that they only give Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland whatever
Their
they're going
lines.
to shoot that day.
Right. Disappearing scripts.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
they've been talking about all the ridiculous stuff they're going into for the Game of Thrones scripts.
Yeah, the fact that they're putting all this work into keeping it secret, something's going to come out.
Yeah. Actually, I think the best story about all that I heard was recently I saw something from Benicio del Toro from shooting for The Last Jedi. And he was saying how someone from Lucasfilm showed up at his house the day that he was supposed to have the script. They give him like the iPad with the script that's like, encrypted and everything like that. And he says, oh, okay. And he says, I'll go read it right now. So he goes inside the house and he's reading it and he's mulling it over and he's doing stuff. And he said, the problem was I forgot that the guy was waiting outside.
Yeah.
So there was this guy sitting outside my house for like 8 hours waiting for me to finish my reading my script.
Oh my God.
Which is doubly funny when you consider like how few lines he actually had in the movie.
Right. The guy outside is like, actors.
It'd be great if he like was sitting out on the curb and like could clearly see in the window and he like watches him like throw the iPad on the couch and then go take like a 4-hour nap.
Yeah, oh my God. Terrible. Our next topic is MoviePass. Yay! We haven't talked about MoviePass in a while on the show.
In like one whole week?
No, I don't think we talked about it last week.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about it because you and me were talking about it the other day when I was at your house.
Which is the only reason this is coming up is because of that email that I received that MoviePass is going to start charging a surcharge for peak times and specific showings for specific movies. So I imagine what that translates into is Friday, Saturday night, premiere nights, big blockbuster movies, which is just another thing that makes it less convenient. Which I think is where we're already concerned by the numbers. I think we're now going to start to see a downward trend with this thing.
Well, I mean, also like considering all the reports and the trends are showing that they're basically taking mountains of cash and shoveling it into a coal engine like train.
Yeah,
like that's the way they're burning money on this idea that they have. So
yeah, and now AMC is swooping in. And I feel like they're going to make it just enough so that they're still green, but they burn MoviePass out. And then
I don't know. I mean, their subscription is twice the amount for half the content.
True. But if they eventually just stop taking MoviePass as part of this, that would help.
Yeah, that's true. Although I haven't seen that officially announced, though I could have missed it. But it wasn't part of their press release about their standalone service.
That being said, I'm an advocate for Movie Club. Cinemark Movie Club. I love Cinemark. I love my Movie Club membership. I've gotten rid of my MoviePass.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I know you were considering it, but at last I heard you still had it.
My biggest thing with MoviePass is that I can't buy the tickets online and I have to go to the theater.
Which is not really that big of a deal, though. It's only like 12 minutes from your house.
It is close, but you can't buy the tickets in advance, and that's the key for me. You have to buy them the day of. And
which it's a bigger priority for you because it's assigned seating.
Correct. And I would much rather not have to worry about it. Also get my tickets for $8 a piece, which is fine. So, and I also get 20% off concessions. So,
yeah,
it's pretty great. It's pretty, basically what it means is I'm going to see a lot of movies, and I'm always going to buy popcorn. So, well done. Well done, Cinemark. You win. Checkmate. Take my money. So that's where MoviePass stands. Now, Gianna, did you see episode 8?
She didn't.
She didn't see it. Okay. That's
valid.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh my God.
We're giving you homework. I would like you to go watch that without reading anything and just let me know what you think about it. Not gonna happen.
You saw episode 7.
I saw the first one that Ray was in.
Yeah, this is the second one.
And then there was the other one, and I didn't see that.
Yeah,
and
but
then there was Solo, and I didn't see that. And I don't plan on seeing anything.
You should see episode 8.
No.
We'll get you to watch this. It'll happen.
And Rogue One. And Solo.
No.
So with episode 8, Al and I have been struggling with this one. We constantly talk all week long about like all these like nasty things that come out about it and how we're just shaking our heads because one, we really enjoyed it, and two, I'm okay with you disliking the movie, but I'm not okay with with you just restating and regurgitating things that other people have said that don't actually have merit.
Yes.
So that's annoying. But then I read this article that I added to the Flipboard magazine.
Is that what?
Sorry.
No, there's been like a civil war on the internet about it.
Yeah. But I read this article a little earlier this week that I added to the Flipboard magazine, and it's like what what Disney can learn from the DCU. And I was like, well, hang on, I gotta open this one. I was like, that's clickbait.
It's 100% clickbait. They got you. They did. Success. And I was like, yeah, reading it over, I just came up with this thing. I don't care if the marketing is really good and the product is crap, and it's going to make a crap load of money because of the way they spin the conversation. That doesn't make a good movie. That makes for good business. I don't care. It makes every DC movie.
Right. I was like, so stop that and do not influence my Disney team. Let's get this article and burn it.
No, I think that they've stayed above the fray for the most part, though. I don't think that they take a lot from the outside noise. Because I think what's happening is, as these lines are drawn in the sand, I think they just don't care. Yeah. Like, if you're just being an asshole, they don't care if you don't go and see the movie.
Right.
Which, the best evidence I have for that is if you watch Ryan Johnson on Twitter, he's just dunking on these assholes nonstop.
He is pretty great about it.
Yeah. My favorite thing was him retweeting the campaign to fund the remake of Episode 8.
Yeah.
And giving them his blessing.
It's so wonderful. A thing that's never going to happen. Stop that. Just stop that. It's not yours. I'm sorry. It's theirs. They own it.
Yeah, the sooner they understand that, the better off it will be.
Oh my goodness. We'll be following that closely. I am interested in some of the things that are coming out, like the main focus being on 9 going forward, which is fine. I'm happy with that. I kind of expected that anyway.
The focus is on that. It's on the Johnson trilogy and the Weiss-Benioff trilogy.
Right.
Which I understand. That's what they have. That's what they want to... That's the way that you expand it. These one-off stories, I'm going to be here for, and there's going to be plenty of people who are here for. But since before Rogue One came out, we've all been wondering what the viability of that was. It's just that Rogue One knocked it out of the park, so everyone was like, "Oh, okay, they're gold. They can't be touched," and that was false confidence.
Yeah. That being said, again, really enjoyed Solo.
Yeah.
Moving on. You have no nuggets this week.
I don't have a nugget, but I do have a question for you.
Hit me.
How are you doing? Have you recovered from this weekend? No spoilers here, but have you recovered from the weekend?
I don't even want to talk about it.
I just want to know how you're feeling, what your state of mind is like.
I'm off, Al.
Still?
I'm still off. You will all find out more about that this holiday season. When our very special episode airs. Good God.
Yes, I don't want you to say anything about it. I was telling you about it a little bit last night or 2 nights ago.
We've got surprises. They're coming later this year. It's terrible.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
More importantly, it was the worst of times.
Great weekend. On. Horrible movie.
Horrible cap.
Oh.
So I was filling Gianna in about this a little bit on Sunday night.
I
was uncomfortable hearing about it. But...
I can't say any more about it. I was about to. I want to experience the same thing with, like, force other people to experience it as well and watch them instead of it.
Well, the best part was the few times that I knew what was coming is that's what I was doing to you, and it looked like you got punched in the face.
Sheer terror on my face for
terror and disgust.
An hour and a half. Now that is enough hints for you guys to try and figure out what it is we're talking about, but you will find out later this year. Moving on to our flick of the week, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Immediate reactions. Go, Gianna. Good. I love it. Al, one word review. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know it was one word. I thought we
No,
were
that's
I felt like
pretty
I was
fine.
in brief.
That's fine. I too.
Just so you know, the rules here is until we lift the veil of spoilers, we will be going no spoilers.
Good call. We did not prep Gianna before that.
I asked if there were rules.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's the one rule.
The second rule.
I enjoyed it as well. It was a lot of fun. It's pretty much exactly what I expected.
It actually wasn't. Well, that's a two-part.
It is thematically what I expected.
Yes.
In execution, it was what I expected.
I was surprised a little bit in how the movie itself was structured. Mm-hmm. And to a certain extent, I actually felt like it was almost like watching two separate movies.
Yep.
It's kind of how I experienced, or I guess how anyone would experience, something like reading any of the Lord of the Rings novels, mm-hmm. because each novel is technically two books,
right?
That cover the same story, but from two completely separate things, and they're each self-contained on their own, not jumping back and forth. And then this was kind of the same way. The first half of the movie was almost like its own movie, and the second half, its own movie, all tied together by threads mm-hmm. that came before it and by thematic stuff. But yeah, like you said, thematically, I kind of knew where it was going, and from seeing the trailers, I definitely knew where it was going.
Right.
It's just exactly how we got there, but there was a fair amount of being able to figure out ahead of time what was going on, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to enjoy here. It's fun. There's some pretty classic Jurassic Park stuff in there. There's obviously a lot more over-the-top stuff as well. There was unfortunately a very upsetting lack of Dr. Malcolm, which I thought there was going to be a lot more of. I really thought that he was going to play a role in this, not just be the bookend of the movie.
Yes.
The entire movie is playing the long game of setting up the next one, which is fine because they do it with enough entertainment. But really, it seems like they have a big idea for the third one, and they needed to get there by bridging the gap. And I'm okay with it.
In a lot of ways, it's a classic middle entry of a trilogy.
Yep. And it's right, and it's fun. It's
but with enough going on to care about it on its own.
It is jam-packed with villains you really love to hate.
Yeah.
Which I liked. Question. Maybe one of you can answer this for me. Was this the biggest on-screen death toll in Jurassic Park history?
In Jurassic Park history? Yeah, probably.
It got a little intense there. It was intense in the beginning. The intensity grew, and then at the end, it was a goddamn bloodbath.
There just came a point where I was like, is anyone going to live at the end of this?
Well, especially like when you look at, the way it feels like after watching the original Jurassic Park, it's like, oh man, those dinosaurs really got the best of them. But only 4 people died?
In the first, clever girl, and then the other guy, and then guy in the bathroom,
the Hunter,
and
Samuel L. Jackson, Wayne Knight, and the lawyer.
I thought we said no spoilers.
The first Jurassic Park.
I know.
We're free to spoil the first Jurassic Park.
He's 25 years old.
Yeah, I think you've got it. Yeah,
unless you count the guy from the very opening scene.
Right. And and we get rid of that within minutes in this movie, which is pretty great.
Actually, you know what? The first Jurassic World probably had a higher death count because there was a ton of people at the park who got killed off screen.
True, but I did say on screen, so
did you? Okay,
there is at least that going for us. There's we'll get into more details a little bit later, but this also has, I'm not going to say what it is yet. Again, we haven't lifted the veil, but this also has probably the saddest death scene in a Jurassic Park movie ever.
Heart-wrenching.
It was absolutely awful. Gianna's confused right now, but when we tell you what it is later, you're going to remember, and you're probably going to want to leave. That's how upsetting it is. There's a lot of fun shots. Homages to the first one. We'll get. I can't.
What they're talking about now. oh, that was really sad.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into those again with the spoiler territory. One thing that I would like to bring up, because it's not a spoiler, shown in the trailers, so it is a spoiler. Volcano. Is that how a volcano would erupt?
That's how some volcanoes erupt.
That's intense. That was really intense. I was terrified. Like, Dante's Peak was good, but that was better.
Oh!
Other than that, I would just say if you like Jurassic Park, this is a movie for you. Go see it if you haven't already.
I concur.
Yeah. Gianna, is that 3? Is that 6
Sure.
thumbs up?
Yeah.
Come on, you enjoy Grey's Anatomy. Don't they say that they concur all the time?
No, they do not.
Oh.
That's
I guess,
catching
I guess hospital movies and TV shows have been lying to us my entire life.
Like,
Wait, but that
the
is
lack of
one.
that word.
I know.
Craziness. Shall we lift the veil?
Let's lift it.
All right, the veil has been lifted. So, of course, the scene that I'm talking about, the worst scene, probably the saddest scene in any movie ever, is
Wait,
the...
hang on a second.
Yep.
What scene do you think it is?
Well, I know what you're talking about, but like honestly, I think like the end scene with like all like with like when they're leaving. No, not the end scene. The part where like they're leaving the island and all the dinosaurs are like.
That is
Oh, that's what we're talking
absolutely...
about.
Oh, it is.
That is
Okay,
absolutely
good,
the scene we're
good,
talking
good,
about.
good.
Because when
I thought you
when
meant
she said
that guy.
when she said she got it, I was like, I have a feeling she's talking about James Cromwell and not
Yeah.
I
the
figured
dinosaur.
that's what you guys were talking about because I was like, you guys like actors and stuff, but like the dinosaurs that really got me.
No, I'm with you. That was brutal, and it lasted way too long. Like, they tried to Family Guy that scene in the worst possible way, where it's like, you're sad, you've grieved, you've gone through the 7 stages, and then you're sad again. They overdid it. I just looked at Kim, and she was like, "No, it's just why do they keep showing this?"
Or Little Bronto.
It was
I know, and it wasn't even like one of the mean dinosaurs. It was one of the nice ones. It was just like
Exactly.
It was necessary. It was very unnecessary.
It was horrible. It was gut wrenching. But yeah, that was the worst. The scene prior to that was sad was one that hits you after the fact, and it's something that Al and I brought up on a previous episode, maybe last week or the week before, in Jurassic World, when the girl that's watching them gets eaten, because it just happens, and you don't really care because you're not really thinking about it.
Do you remember that the girl who's supposed to be watching the 2 kids when everything breaks loose and like 2 boys finally make it back and she finds them and then she gets
she's eating like the water, right?
Well, she gets picked up and thrown back and forth by like the little flying pterosaurs.
She was just doing that.
And then dumped in the water, and then the thing picked her back up again, and then the mosasaurus came up and ate the girl and the pterosaur as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know what that thing is called?
The mosasaurus?
Oh, good, because I was going to refer to it as the Whaleosaurus, because I had no
Whaleosaurus.
idea. And I think you would have known what I meant. That's great.
Considering it's the size of about 8 blue whales.
Right. Gigantic. Gigamundus. Gigasaurus Rex.
the Giganotosaurus.
Gigantonotosaurus.
Sorry, that's an inside joke that no one in the audience is going to get, and we don't care.
That's fine. You can ask us.
Okay.
We'll put you in.
Oh, that was before she came downstairs.
She wasn't even downstairs yet. I was trying to find an interesting dinosaur to call Al at the beginning of the show, because I give him a name at the beginning of every show. And I saw one that looked like it said Gigantosaurus. It's not what it said. And then I looked up how to pronounce it, and Gigantonotosaurus was one of the...
It was one of the mispronunciations.
One of the mispronunciations. But okay, so running it back to a note that I said before we lifted the veil about how it's the biggest on-screen death toll in Jurassic Park history. Is this also the first Jurassic Park with a straight-up murder?
I don't remember all of the second one, but that would have been the one that, if there was one.
Right.
But yeah, no, we got a straight-up gladiator-style assassination.
Yeah, that was intense.
The second they showed the telephone sitting on a pillow,
it's on a pillow.
You knew not only what was happening, but exactly how.
Yeah, it was all sorts of symbolic. There's the death pillow sitting there.
You never saw Gladiator, did you? Gladiator. Spoiler alert, guys, for a Best Picture winning movie that came out 18 years ago.
Is this is Sparta?
No, that's 300, a very different movie.
Also very good.
In a different way. Joaquin Phoenix is the son of Caesar, kind of, and Caesar's played by Dumbledore, the original Dumbledore, and he murders him by smothering him when he was trying to hug him with fatherly love.
Brutal. This was a little bit more intense than that. He just attacked him with a pillow.
Lethal pillow fight.
Oh, sad. Okay, so follow up to straight up murder. Did this have the most satisfying deaths in Jurassic Park history? Because when that guy got his arm bit off and then his face eaten, I was pretty happy about it.
That was pretty good, and but it also mirrored another good one from the first Jurassic World when Vincent D'Onofrio gets it because he thinks that Blue is going to listen to him for some reason.
Yeah, that's funny. That's cute.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Good job, Kingpin. You nailed it. Yeah, but that guy sucked, and I hated him the entire movie. And all I could think about for like the first 2/3 of the movie was, man, I can't wait for this guy to get it.
So the thing I was thinking of the whole movie was, man, I know who he is, but I can't figure out who.
Oh, can you tell me? Because I haven't looked it up yet, but I do know him.
He's one of the Andys from Hot Fuzz.
Oh my god. Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is also not what I was thinking.
He was in one or two other things that you might know, but the biggest thing was when I saw his name, I was like, why is his name so familiar?
Ted Levine.
And after doing some digging, I figured out what it was. He's the son of the actor from the Harry Potter series who plays Wormtail.
Okay. I'm trying to.
The son in real life.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Silence of the Lambs is what I remember him from.
Who?
Ted Levine. That's the guy that I'm thinking of.
Oh no, we're talking about two completely different.
Who are you talking about?
Wait, you thought that guy was one of the Andys from Hot Fuzz?
That's why I thought it was funny. I thought maybe it was like a prosthetic.
No, I was talking about Eli Mills, the guy who was.
Oh, him.
Yes.
Douchepants.
Douchepants. It's a great way to describe him. Yeah,
yes.
I guess so.
Okay. That I recognize. Ted Levine was the one I was trying to figure out what he was from the whole time, and it was Silence of the Lambs that I was thinking of.
He was James Gum.
Yeah.
He was also the thing I always think of him from, because it was the first thing I ever saw him in, was he was in the original Fast and the Furious. He was what's his name's boss.
Really?
Yes.
Look at you. Look at you remembering Fast and Furious.
You know what else he's from?
What's that?
It's Evolution.
Oh my god, I love Evolution.
He's the officer in charge.
Step back. I'm gonna shoot him. If you haven't seen Evolution, man, you are missing out. That movie.
See, I knew that would get to you because I know that's like your favorite, like lesser known gem.
Yeah, it might be. I've seen that movie more times than a single person should have.
I've seen that movie easily 20 times.
I'm telling you, it's in the triple digits because we used to watch it. We used to watch it at the pizzeria on Saturdays, and we had 12 hours to kill. And when we would put a movie in, that movie would be on all day.
Oh,
so
yeah, I haven't seen it that many times. I've seen it many times, but not that many.
Gianna, have you seen Evolution?
I have, but it's been a while.
Okay.
The only scene I can remember is with the fly in the suit.
Oh, it's in me. Ice
the
cream.
Fly.
I would
the
like
fly is in
an
my
ice
suit.
cream. What flavor? It doesn't matter. It's for my ass. Oh man, we should definitely do an impromptu Evolution show at some point. One day when we're together. Yeah, it is excellent.
Not a good bad movie. A great bad
movie. Oh man. What a gem that movie is. I just want to talk about that. Okay, so we have a satisfying death. Ted Levine getting chomped was great. The other guy, the one that you were talking about, the Andy getting killed, that happened so quickly that's what made it satisfying.
Yes.
It was like, is this worm really gonna get away with it? Like, get out of here? And then he just gets snatched up, like, in a split second. Like, you could miss that he was eaten.
He got snapped in half, didn't he?
It was, I don't know. I thought he got, like, pulled up into the air.
No, he definitely got that too, but I think, did the T-Rex throw him in the air and bite off half of him?
Oh.
Or am I
That's even
misremembering
better.
that?
I don't know. I just remember him, like, chomping and, like, whipping the head up and, like, the body going up in the air. So maybe he did rip him in half.
That's I feel like when he fell back to its waiting jaws, he snapped him clean in half, but I could be misremembering.
When he was getting crushed under the car, I was like, you can't even die a cool way. You're just going to get
that
crushed.
would have been perfect, actually, if he got
You
the most
weasel.
pathetic, unfortunate death. Like,
Oh, man. Terrible. The clone. What are your thoughts on the clone?
I thought we had a pretty good conversation about that last night. Or was that this morning?
It was both because I had texted you and then I was on Do Not Disturb and did not get your answer until the morning.
Okay.
I liked the idea.
It was a little ham-handed.
Poor execution.
Yeah.
They mention that the granddaughter is a clone of the granddaughter that died. You think?
I thought that was so.
No. It was his daughter
Yeah.
that died?
Oh, is that what it was? It was also way too quick and not clear enough. And then they pulled on another scene where right after that was a homage to the first movie where it was the granddaughter of what's his face? What's the Hammond, when she's scared and she's got her back to the wall and she's going. They did that scene. I was like, wait, who is she a clone of? I was very confused.
I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch because when I started figuring out that she was a clone, it was a little after the whole first couple conversations involving her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a clone of his daughter, but I think for a lot of the movie, I was wondering whether it was actually a clone of his wife, which makes it even creepier.
Oh, God. That would have been weird.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're right. I think it is a clone of his daughter. Sorry. And he's playing it off like she's his granddaughter. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't make sense. And then it doesn't come into play at all.
Well, except for that one
yeah.
very subtle scene.
No.
I just felt like it was unnecessary. Like they tried to add a whole another plot, and it just didn't make any sense.
Right.
Just kind of this is unnecessary.
They didn't do anything with it. What Al, you're alluding to the fact that she opens the door to let the clone dinosaurs out because she too is a clone. But what the only thing that mattered was that gave everybody enough time to go, wait, what? And then the guy got eaten by a dinosaur and ran the other guy off screen. That's the only reason that it mattered.
True.
They could have said anything. She's a walrus, and then that would have happened because it didn't play at all. But yes, the opening of the gates at the end, which, if you missed it, is because she relates to them on that level.
Because she too is a clone.
Because she too is a clone, and if you missed it,
She said
good.
And if you missed it, she says the words. So now you didn't miss it anymore.
It's terrible.
Which is because I think that's what I said to you exactly. It's like, oh, you mean that entirely subtle way in which that she saved them all because she's a clone, which she definitely didn't explicitly say on screen.
I also just love how at the end of the movie, Mr. and Mrs. No Chemistry drive off into the sunset with a clone into this brave new world.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that. I mean, they definitely needed to get her off the premises.
Right.
But they're probably going to need to talk to the police and FBI. I'm fairly certain that the legal process surrounding adopting a child requires that person to be separated and them to be vetted to make sure that they're okay to adopt a person.
Also for that person to actually be a child.
Well, she was.
There's
Did she
confusion
have records or anything?
around. There's going to be all sorts of legality. She's going to die in like a holding pattern because they're not going to be able to figure out the laws around this.
True.
Also, they're all going to be eaten by the dinosaurs that were let free at the end of the movie.
They only lost like 8 dinosaurs.
But life finds a way. So they're going to procreate somehow. They're going to make their own Indoraptor. And
Indoraptor was cool.
the thing was pretty cool.
I mean, a little bit cheesy, but it was pretty terrifying. Actually, this was probably a cooler and scarier dinosaur than the one from the last one.
I would agree with
It
that.
was the worst.
He was the worst.
It was actually the worst.
She was the worst.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said it. But
Because she was terrifying, or you just didn't like the dinosaur?
it's just like so much could have gone wrong with that. Like it can attack everyone. Like it's gonna be around when everyone else is no longer around.
Oh, you think the planning of it? Well, no, we're beyond. The planning of this is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a good
like,
idea at all.
So it had some nice stripes on it. Like
It did have some pretty badass stripes.
yeah.
That was pretty
Well, they
cool.
took the blue stripe and made it gold. which-
Yeah, I know. So it just made it only that much better.
Goldosaur.
Also,
It had
I mean,
dreadlocks too.
if you look at the which is pretty badass. They've been doing that since I think Jurassic Park 3.
Something like that, yeah.
Because I mean, technically, dinosaurs I guess were feathered.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think they're scarier looking more lizard-like. So I think it was the right choice.
Yeah.
Also, they can explain it away because they have frog DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But
Also, if they're making the dinosaur, it could look however the hell they want it to look.
well, true. Considering they can make it, I don't know, fly and sing the ABCs or whatever they want now because they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, that thing was pretty badass. I also liked that. I liked that the little training thing they had with the laser, sending sound noise, and make it attack people.
I mean, that was a pretty clever little invention that they did have in this like Pavlovian response to laser. And although, if it can track the laser like that, I feel like it should have had heat vision,
Yeah,
which could have made for some cool scenes.
yeah, that's true. Didn't
Like when it's stalking them in the dark. Although I guess it might have been ripping off Predator a little bit.
didn't the one from the previous movie have heat vision?
Yes, that's why I was confused why
Yes.
this one didn't.
But this one, because this one was kind of a
He shut the lights off, and I was
Offspring
like,
of that.
"What is that going to do?" And it actually helped him. And I was really surprised about that.
Yeah, good call.
because when we were watching it, I leaned over to her and said, I was like, I feel like turning the lights off is a
Yeah, they
point in
did it
its
so
favor.
They did it so dramatically, like they shut the lights off, and I was like, "What is that going to do?" And
Yeah.
it honestly, it did a lot.
I just like that they turn the lights off and Gianna in the theater goes, "Ha, stupid. You're all gonna die." There were a couple of really good, really terrifying scenes.
That's
Like-
something that I definitely want to get into that I put down here.
Yeah,
That this movie really leaned into the horror
Yeah.
aspect
The
in a
little
way.
clicking thing that thing did with its toe.
well, okay, actually, it's funny that you bring that up because I actually have a problem with that. That was a reference to the first one
Yeah,
where the raptor taps its toe, and that would have been really, really great if it did it once. But I feel like they did it 12 times. It's like, hey, do you see us doing the tapping thing from the first movie? Hey, do you see it? Hey, hey, I'm tapping.
Well, the only reason that I didn't have a problem with it was because in the first one when they did it, it seemed pretty clear that it was part of their suite of communications they had between each other as a
Right.
pack of hunters.
There's no one else.
And this one didn't have a pack, so it's clearly it fucking with its prey.
Mm.
So I kind of liked that.
Hey, I'm here.
I
Hey
always
there.
pictured it as I'm thinking, where are they?
Version of like scratching its.
Which is actually perfect because considering the Velociraptor meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Just that is great though. If that's what the intention is, then that makes it even better. That it's like trying to screw with them.
Well, think about the things that it was capable of doing. It played dead, which I feel like that should be I feel like that should have been a learned behavior, not a behavior it already has. You know what I mean?
I feel like it was
Mhm.
just that smart that it just was like, you know what?
But I
I'm
feel like
gonna
it should
get
be
him.
like one of those things where because predators don't typically.
Who is gonna teach that thing?
No. Meaning, I'm not saying it's teaching you, but
Oh.
if it witnessed it, if it was hunting something down and something played dead, and then it learned like, I'm going to stick that in my back pocket one day. You know what I mean? Because predators don't typically exhibit that sort of behavior. That's a prey mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that being said, it was cool.
Yeah.
And also, how effing stupid is that guy? No matter how... He could have shot it with 18 fucking tranquilizers.
Do not.
Why would you ever get in that cage?
Right. When he opens the thing, I'm like, oh, good. This is how he's going to die.
On the other hand, it was also like, you idiot, you're going to die and you don't even understand how much you're going to fuck up the entire world right now.
That's a good point.
You have to see the horror that you wreak on the world.
Right. Monster. But
it wasn't just that sort of stuff. I mean, well, that was cool. And then later when, what's his name, Owen shoots him, he also does the, oh no, you hurt me. Please leave me alone.
Yep. Oh my god. The whole auction scene, something really bothered me about that. They kept shocking the dinosaurs.
Yes.
I was
Why?
Like, the whole time I was like, where is PETA?
Well, that
the entire time I was like, this is.
Well, they're not real. They're dinosaurs.
I'm just saying, like, there's got to be like some sort of like regulation on this.
Well, no, I mean, you kind of have that set up from the beginning. Well, first of all, it's an auction to black market, like arms dealers and shit.
It's Hydra. Hydra's buying
them,
dinosaurs.
they couldn't be like, that seems a little fucked up, you know.
These people kill people, and they're buying these dinosaurs to kill more people.
I don't know. We're like. Never mind.
Hey, when you're in a room where a guy is ready to pay $20 million for the one that's broken, I think all bets are off.
Also, does anyone else feel like some of those prices were a little cheap for how...
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the Indoraptor could have gone for $100 million on its own.
Right.
And they only made like $130 million. Not that they'll see any of that, but...
Right.
Some of them are going for really cheap. Like, they're dinosaurs. You can charge whatever you want.
Didn't one of them go for like $5 if you're looking at the screen?
Yes.
I bet it was
like
that big turtle looking one.
Yeah.
I like that one. That one was my favorite. I would have bought that one. I would have had it at parties.
One that ran into stuff?
No, but that one was great too.
He was just having a good time. He was just running around like fucking shit up. He was just having a grand old time.
When he ran headlong into the iron pole, I was like, oh no, you okay?
Oh, you clearly have a concussion after that.
He's just like, that was great.
He looked like you did after we watched the mystery movie the other
day. No. That thing was cool though, breaking through brick walls. I knew, you know where it was going. You know he was going to use him to break out of the cell. But when he hit the pole, I was like, is he going to die? I really hope he doesn't die. Thank you to Clone Girl. He did not die. But this is where the death toll got a little nutty. It's because he was unleashed in the room of people that were...
not prepared.
What is... When you're buying something at an auction, what are you?
The auctioneer is the one who does the selling.
Right.
Shani?
Yes. All of them. The fact that they were getting tossed around, like, you just see them in the background flying up into the air. I was like, this is amazing. He's killing all of them.
There's several people who no longer have rib cages. I don't know that all of them died, but a bunch of them had to have died.
Well, if they didn't die at that moment, they probably died shortly after.
That's what I'm saying. Like, There's people who, like, all of their organs are now applesauce.
Right.
If you didn't already hate the guy who was like auctioning people off, the elevator scene just made you hate him so much more.
Where he threw the woman.
That was terrible. You know what's even better though is that the Indoraptor unwittingly opened the elevator again with his tail, was a great scene.
He confused himself.
What is this? Oh. Snack time.
Yeah, it's like ding. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello. John, I'm sure. If they voiced over with that would have been amazing.
Also, he was a hungry little guy because he was eating everything in sight.
He was killing for sport.
Well, no,
No, he was swallowing things whole.
He was. That's what I'm saying. Was it Indominus Rex, that one was killing for sport. It wasn't eating most of the stuff. This guy ate everything in sight.
I only know that because Chris Pratt got out of the vehicle for no reason at all with a gun on his shoulder, touched a dinosaur, looked up in the air and went, "Just killing for sport."
Shia LaBeouf.
I was literally going to say, I was like, stop saying killing for sport of the Shia LaBeouf song stuck in my head.
Excellent. Can we talk about a few things that I took issue with the movie?
I suppose so.
In the first movie, Claire was all business. Is that her name? Claire? Yeah. Claire Deering? Yeah. All business. Works all day, just making money, all about this park making money. All of a sudden, she's a dinosaur activist?
Yeah.
Well, don't a lot of people who lose jobs become activists?
I don't know.
Social commentary.
Discuss. It didn't really make a ton of sense. That bothered me.
It was her, like, come to God moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I've been a soulless capitalist and I shunned my family and I don't even know my nephew's names and ages.
Yeah, where did they go?
They don't matter.
They weren't even, like, talked about again.
Something else happened towards the end of the movie. They never actually made it off the island. That whale thing was just chomping boats down as they were going.
Wait, can we talk about that whale being in the wave? I know that was in one of the trailers, but at the very end, that being in the wave was pretty badass.
That was dark.
Yeah. The only thing that makes that okay, the fact that it was in the trailer, was that it was at the very end of the movie, and you'd think that something like that would have been resolved based on the way the trailer was going.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was not, and that was pretty cool.
No, that wasn't to be continued.
Yeah.
Also, it was cool because at that point, I had forgotten about that scene in the trailer and then got to be, like, re-surprised by it. I was like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about that.
Is that during the Dr. Malcolm voiceover?
I want to say yes.
Yeah. Speaking of
he
him,
just made me feel bad about myself.
No.
Life will find a way.
Yeah. He's the best. I love him. I love Jeff Goldblum. I was watching an interview a little bit earlier today, and they were talking about the scene that has become famous from the first movie where he's laying in the back of the truck with his shirt open.
Well, even more than that, it's when he's laying on the table at the bunker.
Yeah, and he's just laying there. Like,
with the shirt buttoned down out, like a deep V.
Yeah, shirt open. And the question was, how did that scene come about? And, like, was it written? Was it directed that way? And then I forget who it was. Was it with the writer or somebody who's like, he just did it. he just opened the shirt. And he didn't even remember. He's like, I don't remember. Like, was that in the script? And he's like, did Steven have us do that? He's like, no. You just opened your shirt and just laid it all out there.
I mean, to be fair, they probably were shooting it in somewhere tropical. He probably was hot, man.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting on this table here, guys.
It also has given birth to one of the greatest gifts of all time, which is Grant leaning on the dinosaur that's giving birth and it breathing, going up and down, taking that Grant and superimposing him on Jeff Goldblum's belly. And he's going up and down while Jeff Goldblum breathes, and it's amazing. We should probably put that in the post for this episode.
See, now I'm picturing Dr. Grant. What's his name in real life? Sam Neill. Picturing Sam Neill, like, while they're, like, between takes as he's, like, unbuttoning his shirt, like Sam Neill standing behind him going, like, boom.
Oh my god. So mention the Claire thing. The next thing, I don't know if it's just like how his character is supposed to be, or if Chris Pratt is just not interested, but he seems disinterested in this movie.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way.
No,
per se. I mean, it shouldn't win him any awards, but although I guess I didn't really notice it at the time, but I saw someone write something about it after I'd seen the movie. He didn't really have that many lines.
He didn't, but when he did have them and he was delivering them, he seemed bored to me.
I don't know. I mean, maybe here and there. I didn't feel like that was the case.
I mean, which would be fine, and I could see being like, oh yeah, I'll do a Jurassic Park, and then it's like you have to sign on for 3. All right, I'll sign on for 3, and then seeing where it's going and being like, all right,
I mean, he looked like he was having fun with that scene with the lava.
That was great. That was like him crawling like that. Whatever that was very Jim Carrey.
Yes.
The way that he was like folding
In
himself.
fact, I think Jim Carrey did that exact thing, just not with lava.
Yeah. He what was that in? He face plants.
It was in the second Ace Ventura when he gets shut up with the darts.
Yeah, no, but he does that in some. It might have been like just a skit from one of the sketch shows or something. But he does that where he like slams into the floor and he just goes forward really quickly and like creeps out the people that are standing there. But that was pretty great. And also, there's one part of that though where he, using his body and his momentum, he like flips his arm over. And, like, a piece of lava goes flying in the air. And I'm like, what?
Yes, I noticed that, too. It was weird.
Was his hand supposed to be in the lava? Because that's not how that would work. Also, if episode 3 has taught me anything, he would already be on fire.
Yes.
Still a fun scene.
If movies and lava has taught me anything, somehow episode 3 got it right and Lord of the Rings got it wrong.
Right.
Because when you hit lava, it's not like hitting a liquid.
Right. It's hitting a rock.
That's on fire.
But yeah, you're right. He did, at least in that scene, he looked like he was having a grand old time. Also, the fact that anybody gets out of there is pretty great. He was running through the smoke and flames for so long.
And Stampede.
He would have, of all the things that were unrealistic, is him not dying of smoke inhalation. That is the least realistic.
It's just a post-credit scene of him just with firefighters just like sucking from the air vents that they always give when people come out of the building. Man, this has been going on for an hour. You still got shit in there? Yeah, man. I had no one took care of me after I got off the flaming island.
Right. Speaking of post-credit scenes, Gianna, what did you think of this one?
What was it?
She was nearly as mad at me this time as she was.
As you should be.
With the Captain America.
Oh, was it just dinosaurs in Vegas?
Yeah. Yes.
There were 15 minutes of credits, and I saw dinosaurs in Vegas. Yep. Wasn't that just already gonna happen? They're just gonna disperse.
Thank you. Because all of a sudden, when that scene ended, I was like, wait a minute. I already saw this when Blue was on top of the mountain near the suburban area.
I'm not surprised they're in Vegas. They can travel.
Right. Yeah, but you don't want to hear about Dinosaur Bachelor Weekend in Vegas?
It
just started making me sad. I was like, I don't know.
Maybe they're setting the next one up for the greatest death toll, and there's just going to be crap loads of people in Vegas getting chomped up by dinosaurs.
Has anyone put odds yet on what the next one is going to be called? Because I'm already putting my money on Jurassic World Extinction.
Or someone that's not able to be concise names it Extinction Level Event. Like they referenced it in this movie.
The only other alternative I will accept is Jurassic World Life Finds a Way.
Please make that the thing. Oh, man. I really hope that's the case.
We've gotten through a lot of this, and I can't believe we haven't talked about this at all yet. I want to talk about the opening of the movie, because this is the best opening to a movie since the original one.
Yeah, that's true. I was actually surprised, because when it opened and where it was going, I was like, ooh, something about this feels very much like the first one.
Yes.
It gets nuts from there and then strays from that. But still, that opening was
like the first one
really
on
good.
crack.
Yeah. It was like, imagine how we would reshoot the first one years later.
With more technology, and also we've set a new tone on this, and it's not just a pure horror suspense movie.
Was it in the rain, and his tablet got all messed up?
Well, yeah, and the guys are under the water in the submersible looking for the...
Yeah, that was really sad. He was so dweeby. He didn't, and all the other guys were so beefy. Why couldn't they go out there and do that?
Because he was the tech guy.
They couldn't go with him and defend him.
Yes, he probably should have had someone with a gun.
Dweeby. And everyone else wearing really I don't know.
Also, when you consider, he says, "Hey guys, I'm pretty exposed out here." When your friends are screaming in horror at you, maybe don't ask 8 times what they're saying. Maybe go check it out.
Right.
If you're on an island with dinosaurs running around, it's probably that.
That is pretty typical in a movie like this. Like, that person is always going to say, "What?" as he gets eaten.
But like a bunch of times.
Close too.
He
so
was.
close.
He was.
Well, actually, that was a good bit of like anticlimax, right? Where they go through the whole thing and he survives just barely. They somehow manage to
They're
get
all
away.
cheering and everything.
Plus
Yay!
the whole thing of like, oh, we're gonna cut the rope and you're not gonna make it, and then they just don't cut the rope in time, and he survives, and everyone gets to breathe a sigh of relief, and then
boom.
Nope.
Whalosaurus Rex.
If he would have made it up the ladder, though, they were about to cut it.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
I wouldn't want to be on that helicopter.
Although,
I'd be like,
I kind of wanted to see that conversation. Like,
yeah,
dude, you were gonna fucking leave me.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Not just were you gonna leave me, you were gonna chop me off the rope and not even try and save me, even though I made it to the ladder against all odds.
Yep. That scene though with a little submarine was also kind of heartbreaking, because the way they did that, where it's like, there's the light in the water and it went out.
And it's gone.
Yeah. Oh man. You got eaten.
Well, it's great, and it all kind of plays into something that I liked a lot about this movie, because, I mean, it's not perfect. We talked about it a little bit last week with the first Jurassic World, like, where it's a fun and entertaining movie, but not a good movie per se. I think this was a slightly better movie overall. Probably still not a great movie.
I would agree with that.
But also still enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's as fun as the first one.
Yeah.
Because this one is more leaning into the horror and especially the suspense. And when you put them side by side, it's pretty obvious that Colin Trevorrow is not great with suspense, but that J.A. Bayona is great with suspense. Because there is a lot of scenes that are slow burn, like, you know, playing with like shadows of things like creeping up on you.
Yeah, the lightning flash. Where you get the glimpse of the T-Rex.
The T-Rex in the front. There's the lightning flashes behind the Indoraptor in the bedroom.
Yep. What about the lava in the that little control center when the two of them
the lava with that thing coming down the tunnel, and it just keeps like every time that like a new like flash of it, like you see it. Oh, it's closer.
That was great.
It's closer again.
that was really cool. Really creepy.
You know, the stuff with him running and getting chased by the T-Rex, climbing up to the ladder. You got the ladder. Oh no! There's even like how long. Think about how long the scene that they're submerged underwater in the hamster ball is.
Yep, that was intense.
Like this guy did a really good job with that stuff.
You know what? Also, the when they're trapped, not trapped, but they're trying to get out of the exhibit in the house at the end, and the lights go back on, and the way they do the girl sees the dinosaur, but it's too reflective that you could barely see it. Like that, just when she screams is like at the point where your eyes recognize where it is.
Yeah, because you know when the lights come on, it's gonna jump. It's just a question of from where.
Right. That was good. I like that a lot. Also, when it was opening the door, I was like, nope. Don't need that. Don't need that in my life. It's the thing of nightmares.
It's a big nope. It's a big nope for me.
Yeah. I'm going to pass.
No, they did a good job. And also, even there's one shot in particular where I don't know if the camera panned around to it or if the Indoraptor turns and looks into the camera, but you get a picture of, like, you keep seeing it from the side and everything. It's like, oh, that's clearly some version of Raptor or T-Rex-y thing, right? You know, it's got Predator written all over it. But there's a picture that you get it, like, only really once or twice where it's straight on of the face. And it's like, that is a creature out of nightmares.
Yeah.
It almost looks like some sort of demonic skeleton, like skeletal, like face and teeth structure. It's like, that is horrifying. That's what my like fever dream nightmare of a dinosaur looks like in my brain when I'm like sleeping with an 105 degree fever. Right. And also maybe I did some acid before I fell asleep.
Right. And in that scene, you're the little girl stepping over the red line slightly, and the dinosaur brushes your hair and scares the crap out of you.
Also, can we talk about its hands?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have claws; it has hands.
So creepy.
It's the first time. I mean, this is the first time that actually I was like horrified by the dinosaur itself. Like like, oh, Velociraptor, scary, it's gonna hunt you, it's really smart. T-Rex, big, it'll eat you in one bite, all that sort of stuff. But it's like being afraid of a lion or a tiger or anything. This thing was horrifying in its own right because it's like so unnatural, like way more than the one from the last one.
Yeah.
Like those fucking. First of all, like we're used to laughing at T-Rex hands, like being tiny little guys, and there's a couple of good shots of that in this movie too, with like T-Rex and like the Allosaurus. But this thing had these fucking huge, like 7-foot tall basketball player hands for like a dinosaur though, and it has like 8-foot long claws on the ends of its fingers, and you're watching it the way it manipulates it, like when it's reaching for the girl, where it's like, I'm in no rush, you're not going anywhere, and it's like playing along with its hands as it's reaching out for her, like you said, when it's flicking the doorknob on its own. Like,
stop, too much. Every time you see that thing's hand, you are as scared as the kid in the first one when Grant is showing him how the dinosaur's going to slice him open.
in the opening, or the second scene, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's a giant turkey. Yeah, just picture this 6-foot tall turkey. A lion or tiger is going to eat you, bite you. Or this one likes to play with its food.
Another issue I took. I didn't care for the comic relief nerd character.
Well, the problem is that they didn't give him much comedy to do.
He was just whiny and annoying most of the time.
I'm paranoid. It was too much.
Yeah. And he the only good thing that came of it was the fact that he disappeared for a good chunk of the movie because he gets taken away.
Yeah,
And when he resurfaces, that scene was funny because it's like, oh, there's that one guy we forgot about.
Oh, hey, look, it's that one guy.
Right. But other than that, he was kind of lame. Also, paleo veterinarian.
She was pretty cool.
That was
like
funny,
I like the idea of them introducing like newer people, but they didn't need two of them that were very like
they probably could have done
stereotypical people.
They should have brought back Nick Miller.
I mean, I always enjoy more Jake Johnson on screen. So
the scene in Jurassic World when he's wearing the Jurassic Park shirt, and she's like, "Don't you think that's in poor taste?"
People died.
I could see how that would be the case. It's vintage. I paid like $90 for it. So good. And one of the final things that I really took issue with, which is just probably a stupid thing to take issue with, after Smotherfest 2018, his cane falls. And the amber rock shatters.
That was a little heavy-handed.
Right. I was like, I get it. It's symbolic, but no.
Because the biggest problem with it is
fossilized is not. It's not going to break like that.
Well, no, it could.
I don't think so.
It's like crystallized, like amber. Like, yeah, no, that could happen.
No, but that thing was.
Not into the itty bitty pieces it went into though. Like maybe crack in half.
I don't even think it would break. I think it
Chunk?
might chip at best.
It's not a diamond, dude. It's fossilized amber.
I know, but
they didn't punt it across a room. They
hit a hard floor.
It.
Yeah, wasn't it wood though? The floor.
It's like hardwood.
Yeah, but I don't. It just didn't. I don't. It wouldn't have happened like that. Is my problem.
No, my problem with it is if you show that scene on its own, it is kind of a heavy, weighty, like symbolic move because it's kind of like the death of the dream, right? Hammond and everything because it's the exact same cane. In fact, it was probably Hammond's cane.
Right.
Because Hammond's dead and Lockwood's still alive, and even though they had a falling out, he probably did everything he could to get it after he died. But no, the problem was on its own, it's like that. But after watching Smotherfest 2018, which was supposed to be its own thing going on there, watching that happen, it's so dripping with like this is overdone that I almost started laughing.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that a murder was going on in the background.
It's in slow motion and it basically goes kaboom.
Like it was almost like Michael Bay came in and shot just that scene.
Right. And then there was fire underneath for whatever reason. Oh my god. When they're outside and they're climbing over that glass roof dome structure, and she's holding the gun, and you're like, oh my god, they're gonna do the whole like it's gonna be like a bullfighter, and he's gonna dive out of the way, and this thing's gonna. I thought it was running off the roof. That's where I thought this was going.
Yes, I thought that was the plan too.
And then when it started crashing through, I was like, oh cool, it's breaking through. It'll be fine, but it's breaking through the roof. And then when it didn't fall, I was like, oh man, what a waste.
And then after all of that, though, see, that was almost like the Family Guy like concept as well, where it's like this. It kept going on. Like, okay, he didn't fall through. Okay, he climbed back. Okay, Blue attacked him again. Okay. Oh yeah, he got really impaled.
Yeah,
he's not getting back up from that again.
Paleontologist.
Ooh,
He
that was so bad.
They shot that the way they did that though. Like they swooped the camera around after this glass had cracked, and it's the spike of that what is that thing called? That dinosaur that was down there, the one that it gets impaled on.
I don't remember what it actually fell on.
But the spike is in view for just enough time for you to know exactly that's going to happen in a little bit. But it was just like, it was still satisfying when it did happen. And I was like, as they're falling through the sky in this dinosaur embrace, I was like, oh no, not Blue. Like, please don't kill Blue.
My boy Blue.
Also, if he had killed Chris Pratt at the end, that would have been pretty funny. Like, if he,
all that?
I kind of thought that's where that was leading.
Right? Because, like, he was like, oh, last time he was, like, all cool with it. He was like, hey, man, it's going to be okay. I got shot. And you're going to try and pull this again? No, I'm going to eat your face now.
Well,
I think it was a little worse that he ran away. I thought they were going to, like, have him, like, hang out together, like, move in, you know? I thought it was going to be, like, a pet. But this is a little more heartbreaking than that.
Zero chemistry in the clone
right
he was running in the yard.
Yeah, I was hoping that it was going to end with, like, a wide angle shot of him finishing his house with my God. Like the two girls sitting, maybe they were like cooking dinner for him, and when he's done building, he's gonna come in and help, or maybe they're all working on it together.
Kind of Blue stable.
It's like zooming out, and you see like Blue running through the fields, like coming in for dinner.
That would have been crazy, and also like a really great different take on where the next one could have gone, where okay, we live in this world, but this is the only group of real people left that have the upper hand because they have a dinosaur that listens to them. Also,
alternative though, in the same vein as what I was saying, a very cheesy ending as they're driving away in that car, because I think were they in a convertible?
I don't think so.
Or a Jeep with open, if they were driving off and it's the three of them in the car, and then all of a sudden Blue's head just pops up from the back seat,
that would be great.
Sticks his head out and like catches the breeze like a dog.
Yeah.
Infinitely more cheesy, but I would have been on board for it.
It's like a complete tonal shift for the entire movie, but I would have been all right with it too.
Yes, no, it would have been completely off the rails. But at this point, everything about Jurassic Park / World is off the rails. So they're better off leaning into it.
Yeah. For sure. Does Dr. Malcolm come back in the next one?
I believe he does.
He'll have a bigger part.
I think he's even said that he enjoyed doing what he's doing with it, and that he wants to come back and do a bit more.
Oh, good. I hope so, because I love him so much. I also want to see the Grandmaster and things again as well.
The Grandmaster. Well, he said he wants to do like a separate movie, a spin-off movie of just him and the Collector, since they're brothers.
Oh my god, I would watch that.
Could you imagine? I mean, Benicio del Toro, to a certain extent, is basically just like Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm.
The two of them together,
gold.
Playing those
except I want it as a sitcom, and we get it in 30-minute chunks consistently every week.
I feel like, we might as well just. They canceled that Odd Couple show with Matthew Perry, right? Can we just do the Odd Couple via Marvel with the two of them?
Yes.
So I feel like that's what it would be.
Please do that. Would love to see that. Shattering Amber.
Speaking of who's coming back in movies, Dr. Wu is like a cockroach, like a fucked
up. God. Somebody needs to get rid of that guy. I mean, I know that the dinosaur stepped on the Indominus Rex tooth, and that's supposed to be, I guess, symbolic that, I guess we can't figure this one out, which they could just go in the water and get another one.
Or get the body, like the corpse of that
Right.
thing sitting on that impaled paleontologist.
Somebody should have stepped on him and ended that whole
I
reign
feel
of terror.
like they would probably have a better plot for the next one if they kept the impaled thing alive, the Indoraptor thing. Like, I'd be so much more scared.
That's true.
There's no killing that.
That's true, but considering
one.
They successfully made a scarier dinosaur than the last one, maybe they can come up with something even scarier.
And then it's just going to die at the end of the next movie?
Or, wait for it, what if it lives?
I kind of expected this one to die. It was the only issue I had with it. And then he died, and I was like, well, there was no...
But what if the dinosaurs win?
Oh my god, I really hope that that's the case. That's the movie I want to see.
It's basically Planet of the Dinosaurs.
So dark.
I do want to see that movie. And at the end, it's just Blue making that weird, like, sound that it does, and like that's it. And then the credits roll.
No, so you're back on Evolution now. That was the sound that John Williams Scott was making.
Stand back, I'm gonna shoot him.
No, I got this one.
Hero.
Don't do that. I'm not doing anything.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited to see where the next one goes. It could be fun. I enjoyed this. That explosion was a little ridiculous, and I thought Blue was gonna eat it, but glad that he made it out alive.
Yeah, I mean it was it was a little over the top, but that was kind of cool. I mean, they've turned a CGI dinosaur into a full-blown action star.
Yep. It was pretty badass, too.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I actually thought they did a decent job with the CGI in this movie, and also a good job of blending the practical with the CGI, the way that Star Wars is getting back to the blend of the two.
Yeah, it was. It did it better than... It wasn't the best, but it did it better than a lot of movies.
I would say it even probably did better than the last one.
Yeah, I would. Well, that's fair. The last one probably, I feel like, was on a much higher scale, was mostly CG. Yes,
and that's what I'm saying. I like that they got back to being more practical effects and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, also they made dinosaurs gross, which is probably a good thing.
They what?
They made dinosaurs gross again.
Like when it hits his face and all the stickiness comes off and he smells?
Yeah, when his entire body is covered in
that was
T-Rex
gross.
mucus.
Yeah. Even though I saw it in the trailer 16,000 times, because they were relentlessly showing that same trailer over and over again, when he dives through the T-Rex's open mouth,
that was badass.
That was pretty great. Also, when he closed the door and he goes, "You got the blood, right?" I really wish he said no. I really wish that he had to go back in there for it.
Actually, even though they did spoil it kind of in the trailer, that whole scene ended up being really cool. And again, pretty tense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of leaping onto a barely sleeping T-Rex's neck and then stabbing it in the neck with a giant needle, like repeatedly.
So good.
Also, who knew that T-Rexes were so juicy?
That word can be used so poorly. You can't just be throwing it around.
Oh, I threw it.
Yeah, you did. Sweet. Do you guys have anything else you want to discuss?
I thought they did a better job with Claire this movie.
He was a very different character.
Yeah, I liked the character better. I just thought it didn't. I don't see the transition from the last one to this one actually happening.
I can understand that, but I also think that goes in line with the fact that she was pretty poorly written in the first one.
That's fair. But they still couldn't figure out how to. Those characters don't have chemistry.
I don't know. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was a standout part of the movie, but I wasn't offended by it.
The whole their romance between the two of them does not work.
It's okay. You know what the thing is? At first I was like, well, they were at the end of the movie, the last one, and then they're not together again. I think they actually kind of work as this on and off thing where it's only when things get their worst that they're at their best.
That sounds like a very toxic relationship.
It does. but that's not real life. It's a movie.
I'm not for it.
I mean, as long as he doesn't like haul off and start beating her, like, I mean, like, if they keep ending up like, oh, yep, this doesn't work. We're not working. We're brought back together because everything's fucking falling apart. But we worked great together.
And now we have a clone child. So
and now we have a clone child.
You know what I really liked was that the clone child had no interest in Claire, but definitely liked Chris Pratt. Owen.
I was a little fucked up though because they did that same joke in the first one where the two boys came running to him.
Yeah. Everyone hates her.
Which I don't think was fair, like, because I thought she was. I mean, I guess I understood it more in the first one.
I did too.
Because she was kind of a shitty character,
well,
and I think that's why it was tough to understand the transition. But once they got through that choppy start of this movie, I thought they got a way better groove for that character going through the rest of the movie.
Well, the reason she doesn't like Claire, to continue to mix our movies that we're talking about on this episode, she's a humorless ice queen.
Evolution.
Awesome. Cool. Any other notes?
Nothing too serious. I liked the score by Michael Giacchino. I didn't realize that was him at first.
Yeah. I feel like
I don't know. I don't remember what that was for.
Good subbing for John Williams. Is that just how it's going to be?
Yeah, well, because he did. I didn't realize he did it for the first one as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he had done it for Rogue One, and he did it really well with that as well. So
I do enjoy the take on the theme that they do in these past two movies, like where like the really slow, open keystrokes to it. Like,
well, he went in completely his own direction in this one, and it got really dark and heavy. A lot of the music, and I liked it. I guess it fit pretty well with the theme of the movie.
It did, but it also he's able to tie in the original track with it, which is like really well done.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I know I looked it up the other day. He had done something else as well, or a few other things that I recognized that I didn't realize he did. And it's going to take me a minute to find it. And I should have probably had this up earlier.
You'll find it.
There he is. Oh, he's done the Planet of the Apes. He's done Star Trek. He's done some Pixar
all
stuff.
Of the three new ones, or
well, he did the first one, the 2009 Abrams one, which I guess makes sense how he got pulled into Star Wars.
Right, that makes sense. Music in that movie is great.
He's done a bunch of Pixar's lately. He did The Incredibles 2. He did Coco.
That's cool.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Coco was good.
Doctor Strange. Star Trek Beyond.
Can I be on the Flix and the 6 where we do The Incredibles? Because it better happen.
I guess if we do The Incredibles.
You're doing The Incredibles.
We should do it. I have to rewatch the first one. But yes. Yes, Gianna, you can be on that one as well.
Great.
You can be on any of the ones that you want to be on. You're our first guest.
He's worked with J.J. Abrams a bunch, actually. He's done a whole bunch of things with him.
Awesome. Cool. Gianna, did you have any notes that you wanted to go over?
I didn't make notes because I was informed about maybe a half hour before I got onto this. But yeah, I don't know what heel turn means.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I don't remember what I wrote it down for either. It's not your note. Don't worry about my notes.
I was using.
You keep your eyes on your notes. Awesome. Well, Al, anything else? You good?
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this week's Flix in the Six. Thank you for joining us. If you want to keep the conversation going, I'm at AEJ Costanzo on Twitter and Instagram. Al is at AlessandroB1187. Check out the Flix Flipboard magazine to follow the stories we cover. And Flix in a 6 on Instagram for teases of what's to come. Gianna, where can people find you?
I don't know my handles.
That's great.
I'm the only Gianna Biolsi you can find.
Okay, there you go. Gianna Biolsi. Great. We didn't actually pick a movie for next week, so stay tuned to the Instagram to figure out what we're going to be doing in the weeks to come. Until then, cheers.